Hello, all. You're listening to Heaving Bosoms, the podcast where two best friends recap the plot of romance novels while joking, guffawing, and taking ourselves very seriously. We're going to start today off with a Patreon shout-out. Kendall H-O. You are descended from Pasithea, the youngest of the charities and personification of meditation and relaxation. You're not all sleepy self-care, though. You're way too well-rounded for that. With parents like Hera and Dionysis, Pasithea not only had a passionate love of family, but she knew how to have a damn good time. And you got those traits in spades, for which your loved ones are endlessly grateful. We're so thankful to everyone who supports us via Patreon. We've got over 75 posts waiting for you that include everything from hours of bonus audio, to videos, to text conversation screen caps, and a ton more. And don't forget about our art contest. You have until February 7th to email us your designs for limited edition HB 2020 Meetup merch. All profits from those designs are going to charity, and we cannot wait to see what everyone comes up with. And now we have part 1 of From Lukov with Love by Mariana Zapata. Let's do it! Hi, Erin! Hello! Erin, hello, we're marching into this episode.
I feel like this is how we just start these now, and I feel like we need to start like just taking it down a couple of notches.
I can't, I'm so excited to see your face.
Every time I feel like we're having like a regular, normal conversation and I can handle the energy of it, and then we turn on record and all of a sudden you're at your most melody.
I just love doing this so much.
Me too.
I know,
it just manifests in a different energy.
It does. Yeah, we operate it at different levels, you know.
Can you imagine though if we were both
two melodies? God.
Or there were two Erins, no one would listen to it. It would be like that fake SNL NPR show where they talk about grains, like the Sweaty Balls one.
Oh, Erin,
anyways,
you make such a good point.
Hello and welcome to Romance Novels with Erin.
And Melody!
See, that's what you need.
Yeah, we got this Hufflepuff Slytherin romance thing down, you and I. Hold on. Wait, though.
What?
I'm sorry. I have a bone to pick with you and yours. And I'm
what
sorry.
Did I do? We're going to start with housekeeping.
We're having this confrontation on the podcast because I feel as though I've been targeted by your household.
Rooster? What did I do?
Oh, I think they're working together now, Erin.
Who, Rooster and Goat?
That's right.
Oh, imposible.
No, no, you wait. So I go to open up Netflix the other day, and it says, you're logged out. And I was like, that's weird. Okay, well, here I go. I'm going to log back in. And then it says, there is no email address associated with any account that is this email address. And I was like,
bankrupt?
I have been a Netflix member since like day dot. How dare you say my email? Anyway, long story short, I call customer service and I have been extra super hacked. They hacked me. They got rid of my email address. They upgraded my account to like the $11 billion as many screens as you want program. And then, Erin, wait for it. They turned the account language to Spanish. Dun, dun, dun!
Rooster's good at losing passwords, not at gaining them. I do not think this is her.
That's why I think that Rooster and Goat are working together.
No.
Rooster has the big ideas, and Goat is the little marcher.
No,
she does it.
No.
I think she got me.
No,
I think
Goat is a law-abiding dog.
Nah, you don't know that. She could be a sneakosaur.
Do you know the joke this week is that Goat, GOAT, greatest of all time, Goat, has changed her name officially to gato by switching 2 of the letters so that she can get more cat food.
She
it didn't work, though.
She fell in love with that cat food, Erin. You opened the door.
Honestly, she fucking loves cat food. It's still on my table. And so when I grab the dog food to give to them, she stays sitting by the table looking at the cat food while I'm actively feeding her dog food in the other room. She loves it. Loves cat food.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways.
Okay, now we can move on to housekeeping.
Housekeeping.
But I need you to do some investigations in your house.
I will. I'll go see.
All right, I want you to interrogate them.
Rooster can't even type. She does the draw feature.
That's why I think Goat is the soldier.
No. I just can't. I cannot.
The account was turned to Spanish, Erin.
She's a law-abiding citizen.
I don't know.
I'll look into it.
Okay, so housekeeping. We've got 2 housekeeping issues. One is that I got a really, really nice Twitter DM telling me that I had fucked up, which was true. You guys, I done fucked up. In the first episode of Red, White, and Royal Blue, I called Alex Hapa, which is not right. And if you recall back to the Eyes of Silver, Eyes of Gold episode, I did that the one time because I was so flustered about my learning the history of the word mongrel. And
yeah, there were so many terrible words used in that book for him. Like he was called, quote, half breed, like various horrible things that we didn't want to keep saying throughout the podcast.
Right, and Hapa is a historically very, very loving, accepting, celebratory word for people who I just learned are half white and half Native Hawaiian. When I grew up in Hawaii, I was always taught that it is a phrase, and when you Google it, the internet will tell you that Hapa is a term for half white people and half Asian of like any geographic origin. But Ellen DM'd me. She is Hapa in its truest sense of the word. She's what my aunties would call Hapa Haole because she's half white, half Native Hawaiian. And she was like, listen, I didn't correct you with Eyes of Silver, Eyes of Gold because I understood the impulse of like wanting to have a loving celebratory word. But I really need you to not do that for literally anybody who's mixed or biracial or multiracial. And I heard it when I was editing and I tried to change it and then I tried to dub it and like nothing worked. And so I just left it. But I can make a promise to everyone going forward that Hapa will now only be used for people who are half white and half Hawaiian because we here at Heaving Bosoms are not in the business of erasing people. And that's essentially what that does when you use it for groups that are not appropriate. So my huge apologies. And going forward, I will use mixed or multiracial or biracial. And if you want to read an excellent piece about this written by a woman who is, I think, half Korean, half white, on NPR's Code Switch, one of my favorite programs, there is an article written by Akemi Johnson on August 8th of 2016, and it's called Who Gets to Be Hapa? And it is a really awesome look at a person who loved the identity of Hapa when she first heard it, but then realized later on that, like, even though it's something that she identifies with and something that she felt fits her really well, she's not going to use it anymore because she is, in fact, not Native Hawaiian and white. So that's what's up. That's my first housekeeping of the day. Again, my apologies. And going forward, I will be better. And thank you for the DM.
And I learned something because you taught me the word in the first place during the Eyes of Silver, Eyes of Gold episode. And now I've learned all about it and what it really means. So I've come full circle.
Until I got that DM and I did the Googling and like figured my shit out, I was like, oh shit, I did not know that it wasn't for all Asian people. But it makes sense because when Asian settlers came to Hawaii, they, the nice word would be borrowing it, and the not nice word would be appropriating it. And then it went viral that way. So, okay, now we have a very serious Patreon.
We have more things we screwed up, you guys.
Yeah. You know what, though? I contend we didn't screw up because we didn't know. But now I did a Patreon audit. I was going through the exit surveys for people who have left Patreon. And both Erin and I got really freaked out because one of the exit surveys said that they didn't get the benefits that were described on the Patreon site. And we were like,
Shudder.
What? Yeah, my worst fucking nightmare. And so I realized going through this latest audit that patrons, I need you to please double check because I've gone through it, but I am a human and I will mess up. And if I missed anybody, I'll be really sad. But there were at least 2 people who were giving us dollar amounts, but they either weren't tied to the correct tier or they hadn't chosen a reward tier at all. Apparently, when you sign up for Patreon, the number of dollars you're giving us doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be tied to the tier. So please, 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 if you have not gotten something from us, if it's a shout out, you guys, the shout outs are backlogged because we can only do 1 an episode. So shout outs take a while, but everything else.
Here's the schedule, guys. In the spring, we're sending out the thank you cards for the, what is that, the $10 level?
Yeah, $10 and up.
$10 and up. Get thank you cards in the springtime. Mm-hmm. We're going to try to do something special at KissCon and then send them out after the KissCon. So April, May is what we're looking at for the thank you cards. In the fall, that's a September, October time is when, if you're a $20 and up patron, you're going to get your gift.
Yeah.
The first year we did this, it was a book. The second year we sent out Heaving Bosom mugs. Mm-hmm. In future years, we're thinking about sending out other... What? Future years?
Vibrators?
Oh, you're just really excited that I'm going to continue to do this with you. Other merch or a sister company merch maybe in future years. Then if you're at the $30 level and we're sending you a care package, we're going to try to do that around the holiday time.
No, let's not say that. It's January is when it happens.
But that has turned out to be January because
that's who we are.
It turns out shopping around the holiday time for patrons and your loved ones and going to the post office is a nightmare. So
it's not going to happen.
If you're hearing this right now, yours is sent out, but it is now the end of January. Or maybe it's the beginning of February by the time you're hearing this. I'm not sure. So that's the schedule. So if you're oh, I signed up for, whatever tier 3 months ago and I haven't gotten my thing, that might be right.
Right.
But you shouldn't have it for a full season without seeing anything.
Correct.
If that makes sense.
And so just go ahead and double check that your membership is on the right tier. And if not, send us a message and we'll help you fix it. There's no way that we can fix it only on our end. I checked with Patreon and there's no way to manually fix it, but I can send you links and I can send you instructions on how to fix it. So please, 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 we want to send you your shit. We love you. We love your whole faces. And so if we have fucked this up, please let us know. And if you're hearing my voice and you are that person that didn't get the stuff we told you were going to get, please, please, please email us.
Tell us. We don't know who you are.
Yeah, we don't know who you are. Don't even sign up for Patreon again. I just want to get you the shit we owe you.
Your stuff.
Yes. So.
Yeah. Oh, and also it's true if you change the tier. If you changed the tier, sometimes it doesn't populate, right?
No. So, no. That if you change the tier, it always populates. But if you're on a certain
Edit
tier...
this out. Okay.
Yeah. This is good. Because if you're on a certain tier and you're I really like giving Melody and Erin $20, but now I want to increase it to $30, but then you don't change the tier from intellectual boner to self-care boner, you have to do both. Because,
I see.
Patreon gives people the option to give more than the tier allows, right? So if you're a $30 patron and you want to give us $50, you can. But that won't necessarily mean we're going to give you more shit.
I understand now. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So you have to manually change your tier. Anyway, We love you, patrons. We are so thankful to you. We want to take care of you. And so please let us know if we have not. We want to fix it.
We want to fix it. We're sorry.
Yeah. Okay, everybody. And now we have From Lukov with Love by Mariana Zapata. Erin?
Yes.
I liked book. I liked
Melody?
book, Erin. I liked book.
Here's something. I liked book.
Yes. Uh-huh.
I liked book. Guys,
Yes.
listen to me. I liked book. It's hard. This is hard because I want
it's
an hour from now when I'm still talking about shit I didn't like about this book.
Yes.
Remember that at the beginning of the episode, I said I liked book because I did. It's just, it did have a lot of problems.
There are flaws.
But when
in
I
my
was done
humble
with
opinion.
it, when I was done with the 600 fucking pages,
I think
of
it's
this
542.
book, whatever.
I know.
I was like, I like this book. What a good book.
But the first third could be the first 10%.
Oh my
At a minimum.
God.
At a minimum.
The
first 8 chapters could be 2 chapters.
Long. Every conversation is 30 pages.
And it's it's so much repetition. They say that ask the same questions over and over again. Her inner monologue will be like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And you're like, you just have to say it one time.
Sometimes somebody will walk into a room and say, hey, what's up? And then she thinks about that for like 3 or 4 pages before she's like, nothing, what's up with you? And then you have to literally flip back pages to figure out what the fuck she's even responding to.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Exhausting. But again, I just want to say.
But I liked book.
I
love them.
Just didn't like a lot of the things about book.
Tingle, tingle, tingle. Want them to be together. Love the sex at the end.
This is a slow burn that did in fact burn.
It was burny. I felt the burn.
Unlike the Wall of Winnipeg. So the Wall of Winnipeg had all of these similar problems that we're going to discuss today. And in my opinion, listen, it's just not for me. This may be your favorite book and that's fine. And I'm not saying anything about you.
Totally.
These are Erin issues.
We love that you love the book.
We love that you love book.
Yeah.
But like the Wall of Winnipeg had all the same kind of like issues that I didn't like. But like it wasn't burning. Like no one looked at each other.
There wasn't
no one
a single
liked each
fucking
other.
burn.
No one thought each other was sexy. They just ate that quinoa.
That's right. And they did puzzles. And they did so much graphic design.
And they did minions. And they did a lot of going to their rooms and watching TV.
By themselves.
We're not here for that. We're here for this.
We are here for this. Figure skating, enemies to lovers, fucking
good
deliciousness. Okay, so we've got Jasmine and Ivan. Jasmine is a washed up has-been who started as a single skater, became a pair skater, and then got dumped by her partner. And didn't make a note about when we find this out, but I'm just going to tell you that we find out she found out she was getting dumped by her Paris partner by reading an article that someone else sent her.
Yeah.
In like a magazine. Like, bad news bears.
Yeah. Her partner was terrible, but was so afraid of what a huge bitch she was that he felt like he couldn't tell her without her physically attacking him.
Yeah.
Which I feel like is a little bit legit, but still he should have had the ovaries to do that.
Yeah, you just gotta ovary right up, you know?
Yeah. Anyway.
All right.
Yeah, she's been dumped. She's been partnerless for a year. She is
no one likes
retired.
her.
She has not been competing because she is
think she's retired. Yeah. She's like, I'm not retired. I'm still skating as much as I can, but I don't have a partner and I am a pair skater. So like, I've not been on the competition circuit. And like, she's also not actively looking for a partner, question mark.
I have so much things to say about this. And I don't know if now is the right time. Jasmine. Okay.
Wait, let's remind the listener, Erin has a figure skating background.
Listener, I devoted 13 years of my life to the sport of competitive figure skating.
Yeah.
And I got fucking nowhere with it. So Jasmine just like at some point casually mentions like, here are the jumps I have. I have the most consistent triple Lutz in the history of time. Bam, bam, bam.
Which is where you like rotate in the opposite direction and stuff.
No, it's not, Mariana.
So
here's the thing: is that you start from the Bing Boong Bong, buckle in for some real specific figure skating knowledge in this episode. Sorry. You start from a closed position. I mean, you start where your left foot is already crossed over your right foot, so you don't have that like inertia. I mean, I'm not a physicist, but you can't swing a leg around in order to get yourself into the air and get yourself rotating. So that's why Lutzes are so hard. You're taking off from a weird outside edge that feels like it should be an inside edge, but it's not.
Okay.
If that makes any sense. So it's just harder to get into the air and it's harder to rotate. But your legs aren't going a different direction than the rest of you. That makes no fucking sense. She talks about how her back hurts because of how often she does her Lutz. And I mean, I can understand getting a back injury from doing jumps over and over and over again, but it's not because one area of you is going. Can you imagine? Like, that makes no sense.
No, I understood it to where you're going in a thing and there's an intuitive direction in which you would jump. And then, but you're supposed to jump in the counterintuitive direction. That was my understanding from reading that passage. That could also be inaccurate.
It's a counterintuitive edge, but it's not a counterintuitive direction. Wait, no. I'm gonna keep on this point for a sec. She has this triple Lutz. She casually mentions at one point that she has quads. She has a quad toe.
Okay.
That she's landed not in competition but in practice.
Right.
Women who have quads and triple Lutzes don't suddenly go into pair skating. Like, people go from pairs to singles. People don't go from singles to pairs, especially people with quads. There's no never, if I'm wrong, correct me. If Courtney Milan is listening, who's a better fan of figure skating than me.
Courtney, hi.
But side-by-side quad jumps have never been landed in pairs competition. I think we've had many quad throws, but never side-by-side. So women who can do a quad on their own feet without being hurled into the air by somebody else, they stay. I don't understand. Why did she go to pairs? And they made maybe I herbsed it. Is there some reason she went into pairs?
I have no idea.
Because at the beginning, the coach is like, I've always been curious about why you switch from singles to pairs. And she's like, I'll tell you someday. But she doesn't tell us. She had
I never found out.
Something fucking pages, and I don't
maybe remember
it's
that.
Dropped in the middle of a paragraph that I skipped, because I'll tell you.
But I didn't herbs it. I read it and listened to the audio.
Okay,
so
then I don't know.
I don't remember it happening. Anyway, so now she's a pair skater, but she's partnerless, okay? And there is this dude about the ring.
I just want to say, she could just go back to single skating. She has a triple Lutz. She could win nationals. Bam. Easily. Right now with a triple Lutz. There's no reason she needs to either stop competing or look for a partner. She's a little old, but besides that, she has no reason.
Interesting.
I have no idea what her deal is.
So she's just spinning her wheels for no reason.
She wants to be a pair skater for no fucking reason. I have no...
Well, okay, but I will say...
Perfect that quad toe. Get out there. Win a world championship. I don't understand what her deal is. Anyway, okay.
All right, so I will say that the first 8 chapters of this book they were personally hard for me to read just because she is in a palpably depressed place. She's like Miss Negative. Yeah. She has a very hard time with everything, and like I'm not great with a lot of angst these days. I need some happy go Skippy because I'm working on being happy go Skippy myself. But I don't know. I think there's a lot of different things that are never said out loud, but sort of shown. She's a little bit negative. She's a little bit jaded. She's a little bit like stuck in a rut. And all of a sudden, Ivan Lukov is the reigning worlds of everything. He's got 2 gold medals. He's her best friend? Question mark. Her
best friend's brother. Yeah, she has this best friend Karina that she hasn't talked to in a month, and doesn't talk to ever in the book.
We've been cactus friends before, you and I, but she doesn't have any friends outside of her family, and this one bitch she hasn't talked to in 4 months. So I don't know, man. Anyway, so Ivan Lukov is her best friend's older brother, and she's known him since she was like a wee 9-year-old or 13-year-old or whatever. He's only 3.
Because she started figure skating at 9 years old.
Yeah, that's late, right?
That's late. That's 6 years too late.
That's what I
late.
thought. That's what I thought.
All right.
Okay, so then Ivan and she have always had a very antagonistic relationship. They're always giving each other shit. They in her brain, they hate each other.
Mm-hmm.
And he just split with his partner for reasons unknown. She hears around the rink that Ivan split with his partner, and she's like, oh, well, that's fine. That asshole can find out whatever he wants to do. Everybody wants to skate with him. He's going to be fucking fine.
Mm-hmm.
So then she gets a note that's come to the GM's office. And the GM has been trying to get her to coach because everybody thinks she's retired, and she doesn't think she's retired. And I know.
Go to a competition. Anyway.
So she thinks she's going to meet the GM, and she walks in, and Ivan Lukov himself and his coach are sitting in this office. And Ivan's all slumped over and angry pants on his face.
He's got his long legs and his cheekbones going.
No,
and his dark hair and his symmetrical face and nose.
And his gray blue eyes that sparkle
very
all
blue.
the time.
Very blue, you guys.
And those pouty lips, Erin. Those pouty lips that pout.
Pink lips. They're so pink. They're described as so pink all the time.
Whatever. He wears Maybelline Super Stay Matte. I know it. Probably in lava. Okay.
She calls him Satan. She hates him.
She calls him Lucifer and Satan constantly.
One thing we know from the beginning, from paragraph 1, is Jasmine hate Ivan. And no one really knows why.
Even her.
And still feel like I don't really know why. But yeah, she hates him.
I think it's because every time they were fucking around and ribbing each other, he thought they were joking and she thought they were very deadly serious.
Did he though? Because later in the book, he says this, we were always joking that I thought we were friends, but he seems to truly hate her in this meeting and the first few practices they have.
Well, it's weird, right? Because later on in the book, there are several times where she's like, I'll find out years later that in that moment they were playing me and reverse psychologying me into doing things. And so I don't know if it's him truly hating her or him knowing her personality enough to be she will respond in the way I want her to if I say this horrible thing to her. I don't know. It feels a little too perfect and omniscient. I agree.
Because I feel like if you're only mean to a person all the time, the only relationship you have is these jabs back and forth, at some point, if you truly believe that person is your friend and you're just playing around, at some point, someday, you're you want to get lunch?
Yeah, totally.
Or great sit spin or something. I don't know. You say a nice thing at some point in time during the last 10 years or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I also think we find out later that he got super pissed that when she went into Paris skating, she didn't ask to be his partner.
But that was after years and years of this.
I know. Anyway, okay, so she goes into this office. And they're like, hey, girl, Lukov's partner, Mindy, is taking the season off. And so we want you to be his partner for this year and this year only.
For one season.
Which doesn't... I'm not a figure skater. I don't know what that means, but it feels like, according to the book, most people take the season off and then train for a full year, right, Erin?
I would think so. And go back to your partner. I mean... I don't think I've ever seen somebody at this level just grab a partner for a season. It's a long-standing relationship. I mean, that would be really, really weird. Really weird. And he already has. It's not this is his prime. This is his year. We need somebody to pair with him this year because this is the year. This is an Olympic year. This is the year of Ivan Lukov. It's not like that. He's got 2 gold medals and 4 world championships or something like that.
Yeah.
So there's
and he's got 2 years until the next Olympics.
Exactly. I could see a situation where stakes were high for whatever artificial reason, but those are not here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, anyway, so Mindy's taking a year off.
Well, and
1 year.
To be fair, she is incredibly confused by this proposition and this situation.
Yes.
But she also like refuses to ask them what the fuck Mindy's up to, or like why, or why her, or any of those things, because she really doesn't want to know. She's in a very insecure, nobody likes me, everybody, also the media apparently hates her because she's such a bitch face.
She's
like
such
to
a
everyone.
Bitch. Yeah. She's like, why does the media hate me? It's like, because you're horrible. You're a horrible person to everyone.
You don't say nice things out loud ever.
But she does say, why me? And in
That's
this
true.
meeting, it takes her 5 pages to say, why me? And then it takes them 5 pages to answer, there's no one else left. There's no one else who can skate at his level and do this. Because she's like, there's younger skaters, there's better skaters. And they're like, no, we're at the bottom of the barrel. We're either going to hockey players or you. So
yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to herbs the next stuff because it's like she goes to dinner with her family and doesn't tell them for no reason about this proposition. And like we meet her family or whatever, but like whatever.
You guys, her family is so big and there's so many names and I can't.
There's so many of them. And so, I mean, I loved every one of them except for Tati, who we never actually... She says one thing, I think, in the whole book, but it's fine. So she goes back to them the next day and the one important thing that happens at the family dinner is that they are like, well, we know that you've always had a thing for Ivan Lukov. And she's like, what are you even talking about? That's never happened. We hate each other. And they're like, okay, honey, you can keep saying that to yourself, but that's not the reality.
And then the mom says she had a thing for Ivan Lukov.
The mom is a lot. I'm gonna be honest.
The mom
with
is
you.
so much. The mom is like this cougar, this like hot cougar, and she's like, I'd do him, and it's like, that's pretty gross, Mom.
Yeah, Mom. Like, just
keep it in your pants, Mom.
Stick with your hot husband, okay?
Yeah.
And stop talking about, if you really think your daughter has a thing for this dude, like, don't stop talking about his dick, you know?
Yeah, don't.
All right. Don't do that. So, okay. So she goes back to him and she agrees to be his partner. And hilariously, she says on 2 conditions, and then she lists like 7 conditions. One is she's not going to get a makeover. 2 is she's not going to kiss babies. 3 is that they can't dump her before the year is up. Then she wants to be an equal partner and not be blamed for things that aren't her fault. And I think that's it, ?
Yeah.
Oh, and the other thing is the coach really wants her to restart her social media accounts, and she's very uncomfortable with that, but she won't tell them or us why.
Right.
But like she says that she'll do anything and she really wants to win, and she wants to win that year because it's her only shot. And they promise that at the end of the year, they will help her. They will not help her find a partner. They will find her a partner.
Yes. Or she could just land quads on her own. It's so weird.
What I think, now that you say that, what I think is really funny is that in the book, she's like, yeah, I can land quads on my own, but we have to go to this special gymnastic place to practice a quad throw.
Yes, that's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a whole different thing.
It's a whole different thing. Okay, cool. All right.
Whole different
awesome.
thing. Yeah.
Okay. So they start training and they're like doing lifts and stuff. Go ahead.
I just want to say, Mariana Zapata gets a lot of things right in this book. I just wanted to say that out loud. But then other times she says that somebody does a camel back spin. Never heard of it. Not a spin. Not a thing. Anyway, okay. Moving on.
All right. So they start training and they're like doing lifts and stuff. And she's like, it's just different than it was with Paul, her old partner, and she can't get the balance right. And she's like, oh, your hands are so much bigger. And he's like, it's not the only thing about me that's bigger. He doesn't actually say
like,
that,
your
you guys.
hold is weird and stuff. And he's like, I'm not weird. I'm not the weird one. I'm the one with 2 gold medals. And she's like, okay, well, I'll get used to it.
I'm getting used to it. God. And then at the end of God, shut up with your 2 gold medals. Oh.
And they're so mean to each other. Like, she's so constantly calling him Satan. They're making fun of each other. He's making fun of her for losing all the time. She's making fun of him for being like a rich asshole who like cheats to win, who's like family paid off the judges or whatever. Yeah. He calls her meatball, which is a comment on her weight, I think, at some point in time.
Apparently it's what he started calling her before she hit puberty late and like turned into her woman body.
Yeah.
And yeah.
But
and
I guess she was like pudgy until the age of 16.
Yeah.
Which also is confusing to me.
As a figure skater, yeah.
As a figure skater, at this level, it's like you didn't start till 9 and you were pudgy until 16 and now you're 25 and you've got a quad. That blows my mind. But yeah, he calls her meatball because she used to be chunky.
Yeah. It's not great. It's not great.
He makes fun of how like heavy she is when he lifts her. I just want everyone to know how mean they are. They're so mean to each other.
I did think it was really interesting though. Because he was like, yeah, you're so small and you're so in shape and you're so everything, but like you got heavy fucking bones.
He said that?
Yeah. He was like, your structural, your bones are fucking heavy. Like, you're a dense little package.
Ivan Lukov for Queen Bird.
That's right.
If you read this for Queen Bird, just know it's not Jasmine. It's Ivan.
It is Ivan. Ivan is the Queen Bird. She talks about this old costume of his where she's like, she's basically the Chiquita Banana Lady.
He's definitely got plumage, for sure.
He does. Oh, he's so great. Okay. No, Ivan Lukov for Queen Bird, you guys. I love it. Yeah, because he's angular, too. He's got a beak on him.
He's angular. I feel like his cheekbones could be a beak. Yes. He's got plumage, and he's a very high jumper. They talk about how high he flies in that triple lead, so I feel like...
He is a Queen Bird.
Ivan for Queen Bird.
Yeah. I love him. I love him, and he's so fucking sexy, you guys. Later on, he gets so sexy.
He gets sexy.
It's not right now. Right now, he's mean, but God, he gets so sexy. Okay. So he says that she needs to trust him. Mm-hmm. And it is like, it's not going to work if you don't trust me. And she's like, hey, bro, I've been here for one day. And up until this point, if I fell down in front of you, you would not help me up. That's literally happened before.
He faked her out one time, like Lucy with the football, where he like offered his hand to her after a particularly hard fall, and then when she reached for it, he took it away.
He said skated off and cackled and skated away. Like, yeah. And so she's like, I don't know why you think that all of a sudden I think you've morphed into a different human. That's not fair of you. And he's like, but that was before you were my partner. And so now I'm a partner, which is a different human, you guys. I've morphed. I partner now. Ivan, partner, Jasmine.
I do like that he says he's going to drop her all the time, but he's never going to do it on purpose. Uh-huh. Which, if you've watched the Netflix show Spinning Out, that's like the new figure skating show on Netflix. I did watch
it. He's like, I'll never let you fall.
Promises her he's never going to drop her.
I'm like, what?
Which, like, blows my mind. It's just part of it, man.
Uh-huh.
It's not a promise you can keep.
It's not. So, okay, so chapter 6, you guys. Chapter 6.
You're just trucking along.
I am. Well, nothing happens in the first fucking 8 chapters or 10 chapters or so many of them.
Okay, well, I've got a lot of Bing Boong Bongs and they're just building up. So just know that at some point, I'm going to like hemorrhage a Bing Boong Bong out.
You're going to Vesuvius me?
Well, there's a few things that are so weird about this book, and I want to know your take on them.
Please.
What are trademarks and copyrights in this book? Because she talks about Facebook.
Yes, but then she talks about pictogram. Thank you.
Also pictogram, because there are certain realities we have to accept in romance novels because we're not going to get permission to use certain trademarks and that kind of thing, which is fine.
Facebook, Facebook owns Instagram.
They're the same company.
Yeah.
I've read cases. I've read cases before. I've read romance novels before where it's like they can't say Olympics. It's like the winter schmurschmers. Like I read a series that was like the Winter Games.
Okay.
Which is fine. Olympics has a trademark. That makes sense. But they're talking about Olympics all over the place in this book.
Everywhere.
But then they talk about like, it's not the Grand Prix. It's like the World Prix or something like that. The Globe Prix. The Best Prix. And I'm like, what the fuck? And
well,
then,
and the anatomy issue instead of the body issue.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then the competitions that make up the Grand Prix in this book are half real and half fake.
Huh.
Like, the real Grand Prix is like as Skate America, Skate Canada, Cup of Russia, Cup of China, the French one, and NHK. Those are the ones. In this one, they talk about NHK several times, but then they talk about Skate North America, which is a combination. And I was like, are they trying to pare down the number of competitions? Because at the end of this, we're going to have a marathon of Grand Prix competitions that she needs to not make so many. No, that turns out not to be the case. What are the trademarks? I don't understand what is going on.
Yeah, I don't know. I had the same question.
That's the end of...
Obviously not about the skating stuff.
Trademarks with Erin. That's the end of that one.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, I'm glad I can cross that note off, because I was going to ask you about Pictogram, but also Facebook.
Yeah. All right. All the rest of my Bing Boong Bongs are figure skating related, so I'll
I'm
just say them.
You just verbally tackle me anytime, because I'm going to truck. I'm not doing 2 episodes for this book. I loved it, but it's not enough for 2 episodes. Okay, here we go.
All right. Okay. Great.
Okay. So
chapter 6.
The coach asked her to do interviews, and like she wants them to act like they don't hate each other when other humans are present.
Weird chapter.
This was such a weird chapter. It was so weird.
So the Coach Lee, who is Ivan's coach,
Nancy Lee,
says, I want you to act like civil toward each other, because they mouth a lot of things at each other.
Yeah, they're always mouthing, I hate
they mouth
you.
At each other are like not things that you would be able to mouth at someone and get. Like, you would be like, what? And you're like mouthing like you're the spawn of Satan and you eat your own babies. And every time I read something like that, I'm like, how did they know what that person was mouthing?
Because partner mind.
I guess. Anyway.
Partner mind.
And she's like, you gotta stop doing that, because people can see it. Like, people have eyes, and, we need to look like a cohesive unit. And her response to this is, so what, you want us to act like we're dating?
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I just want you to act like you don't hate each other. Just like turn off the shit where you guys are mean to each other all the time. Just act civil. And she's like, so what, like, you want us to act like we're married?
Want me to have his babies?
And touch each other and like giggle and snuggle with each other? And she's like,
do you want me to like flash him in public?
Yeah.
You want me to pull out my tits in front of everyone so that I can show him? You want me to be tits out for Lukov all the time? Is that what you want from me?
And she just keeps being like, no. All I want is for you to sit next to each other and not punch each other in the arms and stuff.
Yeah, like not Charlie horse each other.
Yeah, Lukov comes in and she's like, Coach Lee wants us to act like we're married. And he's like, what? Why? I don't understand.
Right. But then by the end of it, it was so weird, because by the end of that interaction, because Coach Lee sort of corrected her, but sort of didn't. Yeah. And then by the end, he's like, well, I can do it. It's just a matter of whether or not she can do it. And that's one of the times where she's like, years and eons later, I would learn that they were teaming up against me to get me to suck on his penis. That's not what it is, but like, fuck, man.
Yeah, Jesus.
Okay, so actually, I have it. It says, I can do it. It's up to her if she can. Years from then, man, they're gonna see the level of melody fanfic that happens when I try to paraphrase something I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't remember that sentence, but
here we go. It says, years from then, I'd look back on that moment and see how well they played me, how well Ivan knew me after so long, because I walked right into that shit. My pride led me there. Of course, I can do it. Like, what?
What does it mean? All they're asking is like, I don't understand. Like, don't be the most immature person.
Yeah. She doesn't even ask him to, like, smile constantly.
Yeah, it's not
or
like
hold
anything
hands.
Affirmative. It's not like smile, hold hands. It's not like laugh. It's not like give each other compliments or say nice things about each other. It's literally stop saying each other is Satan and a dickwad. That's
and
all we need.
In public. Like, stop actively glaring at each other.
Yes.
All the time. That's it.
That's it. That took 15 pages, you guys.
At least.
Thinking about whether or not she would agree to this is 15 pages.
And then she has to say, and I told them that I would do literally anything for this partnership, so I guess I can do this.
No, she's the worst. She's the worst.
Okay. So then the coach in the same thing asked them to do the anatomy issue. That's like Sports Illustrated's or ESPN's body issue.
I think it's Sports Illustrated, right?
I don't fucking know.
In this thing, it's something else. I don't remember.
All I know, Erin, is that I Googled it.
Look at it.
I got lost for about 45 minutes last night, and then I had to get back to notes.
Have you never done this before?
I didn't know about
How
the
did
body.
you not know?
I don't know, but it's my goddamn dream come true.
Yeah.
So there we go.
It's good stuff.
On
I don't think
every
I've ever
level.
seen a figure skating pairs team do it, though. Figure skaters have done it, but I don't ever remember a pairs team doing it together. I would like to see it.
I would not look away.
There are a couple pairs teams that I would like to see.
Yes.
I'm not proud of it, but it is true.
Okay. So then she's like, yeah, totally. I'll definitely do the anatomy issue. And then they're like, hey, P.S., you know that this means together, right? And she's like, oh, hard no. Hard no. I'm not getting naked next to Ivan Lukov.
It takes like 20 pages for her to agree to it in the first place.
Yes.
And then they're like, it's together. And I'm like, no, now it's going to be another 30 pages for her to not agree to it.
Yep.
Yeah. But by the end.
She does.
Yeah, she does. She
and then
agrees
it
to it
says, she says to him, well, I don't want to see your junk either. The idiot winked. Aw, it's not junk, meatball. It's the good stuff. Ooh,
it is good stuff, too.
You guys, it ends up being good. Okay, so then there's this great scene where they do an interview. And the interviewer is late. And so she's really, really nervous. And he's trying to figure out why. And after 15 pages, she breaks down. And it's 15 pages of him going, Jasmine.
What's
Jasmine?
wrong?
Jasmine.
What's wrong?
Jasmine. That's it. Oh, he does say, I've never seen you so squirmy before, and I don't know if it's annoying or kind of cute.
And she's like, cute? And then she thinks about that for a few pages. And then they start jabbing at each other, and then they start laughing because they thought each other's jabs were funny. And then that's when the interviewer walks in.
And there's lots of touching because he sits down next to her and he's got her blocked in the booth so she can't get away.
It's that immature thing of like, move over. No, you move over. No, move your leg. Yeah.
Anyway, it's very cute. And then during the interview, so we find out that she's been misquoted and I lost it.
Characterized?
Mischaracterized. Erin, look at you with your intellectualism. She's been mischaracterized a lot in the past, and so she's really, really nervous. So throughout the interview, he does a lot of deflecting and a lot of like, hey, stop talking about her old partner. You promised we weren't going to talk about that. Yeah. Let's focus on me and Jasmine. He does a lot of like touching her leg to keep her focused or to make fun of what she said or whatever. And then there's also a lot of like them playing a how well do you know each other game that starts off real cute because it turns out he knows everything about her.
Except that her favorite color is pink.
Yes.
And he's like, I've never seen you wear pink. And she's like, I don't have to wear it for it to be my favorite color.
Yeah.
I thought that was really funny.
It was really cute. But then the interviewer asks, what kind of book does she like to read? And he says, picture books. And she goes, what the fuck does that mean? And he goes, well, I've never seen you read before. And my sister always reads you menus when you're at restaurants. So like, and there's been some seeds planted about this, but it's something she's really sensitive about because we find out later that she has a learning disability and it's not a fun thing to joke about.
Two things.
Yes.
The first thing is this question. How confused is this interviewer? Because this question immediately follows.
Yeah.
If you could meet anyone alive or dead, who would it be? And she says Jesus for him. And he's like, totally right. And it's not.
It's not.
And then he says Stephen King for her. And she's like, why? And he's like, because he wrote your favorite book, Misery. Ha 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 ha. And then she's like, what kind of books does she read? And he's like, picture books because she can't read.
Yeah.
He's like, wait, what?
I know. Well, then Jasmine comes in and she's like, I really like audiobooks, okay? Jeez.
I love the idea that is Jasmine's voice. Oh my god, you just changed the whole book for me and I love it so much more. Hey.
God, Ivan.
Satan.
Jeez.
Okay, so
that's what Lee wants me to suck on your penis. That's not gonna happen.
Question.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just heard what you said. Question.
Yeah.
There's a lot in this book about her writing L and R on her hands to know the difference between her right hand and her left hand.
Yeah.
I do not know this to be a thing that pair skaters do. If it is, none that I knew ever did this. Is that about her learning disability, or did I miss something?
So yeah, I thought it was tied to her learning disability. But
okay.
The thing... So I had a hard time with this because she never says which learning disability she has. She says that she has a hard time with sequences of letters. I agree. Sequences of letters and sequences of numbers. But then we also find out that she has a really hard time remembering programs. And so she has to do them like 500 more times than anyone else so that it's like steeped into her bones. And she doesn't have to think about what's next. Her body just knows. She has to get it into her muscle memory. So I don't know if those things are related or if they're just like tangential. But it seems like that is supposed to be baked together. And I don't know enough about the subject to know whether or not the fact that it feels wonky is wonky.
Yeah,
or if
I don't know.
It feels wonky because I just don't know.
Well, it seems to be such a thing throughout the book. She mentions it a lot.
Yeah.
And I just did not know if that had something to do with pairs or that had something to do with her. And I'm curious. So if anyone knows or it was mentioned, I'd like to know because it made me curious throughout the book what that was.
I mean, I know that Ivan doesn't write left and right on his hands.
But there may be a reason why the girl does and the boy doesn't. You know, I don't know.
True. That's true.
So.
All right. So then the next morning, he tries to ask if she's mad. And she's like, no, I'm not. God. And he says that she's, you're not the first woman to tell me there's nothing wrong when there clearly is.
Oh, God.
Just get out of here.
I didn't mind it too much, though.
I didn't mind it either. It just is annoying. Oh, and then she looks at him and she goes, don't compare me to your exes, which is sexy, in a weird way. It's subliminally sexy. It's planting those sex seeds. Then she tells him that nothing he says can faze her because she doesn't care what he thinks.
Rough.
Yeah, woof. And then he says that he knows her better than she thinks. And they argue about that. And then the coach joins them and is like, all right, doofuses, stop it. We're getting to work. Also, there's other people around right now. What do we talk about? But then, you guys, we've got some external stuff because her car won't start. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
And she needs a ride
poor
home.
And he's rich. I don't think we've mentioned that the ice rink is named the Lukov Ice Complex or the LC, which, nope, I'm going to get over it. It's called the LC. And
the Lukov complex.
The Lukov complex. And it's his family runs it. His family's like mega rich. And she's like, she can't pay for her shit. And she's working part-time at a diner. So she's going to these practices from 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. and 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Also taking ballet, also taking Pilates, and also working at this diner. What's up?
Yes. I had a hard time with this because Bing Boong Bong math with Melody. At the start of the book, she was like, I only practice 2 days a week because, or 2 hours a day, I'm sorry, instead of 6 or 7 because I can't afford any more, which makes sense. She has to work a job, right? Because she has to do whatever. But then at the end of the book, we find out that the only thing, because she's such a good friend of the family, the only thing she's ever paid for is coaches and costumes and stuff because the Lukov family has refused to let her pay any more than 10% of the ice time.
Wait, that's ever?
Ever.
I thought that was just when she was with Ivan.
No. So her mom, I mean, coaches are expensive. Costumes are expensive, right? But she has never paid any more than 10% of the ice time fees. Because she's a friend of the family, which are astronomical.
But at the beginning of the book, she neither has a coach.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
And she's also not competing.
And she's not living on her own. She does not pay rent to her mom. But she won't allow her mom to pay for the ice time anymore. That makes sense, right? But it just didn't
Maybe she needs that job to pay for 10% of the ice time.
And that, again,
and her
that
shit.
makes
I mean,
sense.
she's doing Pilates and shit. I don't know her life.
Yeah, that makes sense. It just, but once at the end, she was like, also, the Lukov family has been letting me skate for basically free the whole time. I was like, wait.
Yeah,
okay.
I thought that was just while she was with him. That's nuts.
No. Okay, so he offers to give her a ride home. And on the way home, he's like, this would be a lot easier if you didn't hate me. And she's like, who says I hate you, shitface? Like, Satan. Who says I hate you? And he's like, you do.
You said literally, I hate you many times.
Yeah, dude. Come on now.
And again, if he thinks that they're friends, but they're just joking around, why does he have this conversation with her?
Right.
Continue.
Okay. So then 15 pages later of her being like, we're not going to be friends. And him being like, but we could though. He reverse psychologies her into being his friend.
Yeah, he's like, he makes it like a challenge. Like, I can be friends with you. Why can't you meet this challenge? Which I thought was dumb and weird. Anyway.
I know. And then he's like, well, now I don't even know if I want to be your friend anymore. And she goes, too bad, shitface. We're going to try.
It's kind of cute. The way that it got there was cute. Very windy for me. So then he says he has to pee. And he has to go into her house to pee.
Yeah.
But then when he gets into her house, he really doesn't have to pee that bad. It seems
and then
like
family dinner.
And then they play Jenga. And the mom invites him to stay for lasagna or something. Spaghettis. I don't remember. And... yeah, it's great. There's some weird weight stuff, though, that I didn't really... It's fine. But he was like... he kind of like side-eyed her that she was gonna eat the lasagna.
Yeah.
And she was like, it's my cheat day. And then she has 2 garlic breados. But it was rough. I don't know.
I mean,
I guess it's his business. I don't know. I never did pairs.
Her partner, and he has to throw her around and stuff. And she's got those heavy bones, Erin.
But she's working out 7 hours a day. I feel like she can have a garlic breado. I feel like it's okay.
Yeah, I didn't see it because they all like get in line at the kitchen to dish themselves out. And I don't know. I felt like that passage, I don't know if I'm being an Ivan apologist right now, but I felt like that was more a manifestation of her own worries than it was him actually disciplining her about it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. So, and then they call Karina, the only time we see Karina in the whole book, her best friend in the whole world.
Friend,
her
quote unquote.
Best friend, the only friend.
I think this is intentional because this is the person who is her best friend. I think Karina has other friends. She's at med school. She's doing
That's true.
So it kind of emerges throughout the book that Ivan is her best friend.
Yes.
And not Karina. And so I think this is intentional on the author's part, is to make it seem like she believes this woman to be her best friend, who's really not her friend at all anymore. Right. But other than that, she doesn't have any friends.
Yeah,
and now true. Ivan's her best friend, and she didn't realize this was happening.
Ooh, it's nice. Honestly, it's nice.
I don't know when we started saying that, but I love it.
I don't know, but I love it. It's nice. Okay. So then, you guys, it's the photo shoot. The photo shoot. We're in a can line.
Which happens so on ice.
On ice, bitches.
Rink, doing actual moves.
Actual spins. Naked-sies.
Ooh.
Man, one slip and you've got a traditional Highlander finger banging. That's all I'm saying.
The figure skaters that I have seen do the body issue are not on ice. They're wearing skates, but they're not skating.
I saw that yesterday when I did the Google. And there was this hockey player. And oh boy, he was on skates, but he was also not on ice. He
just got kind of a gray backdrop.
Like a turf thing.
Yeah.
With a skates and a naked-sies and a hockey.
I'm glad they skated though. It was a fun scene. They were really skating naked together.
Can you imagine though falling on the ice while just naked as the day you were born?
I can, because it's the exact same fucking thing as falling in a leotard. Like
all right.
You get these things that, like, they're like strawberries, I think is what they used to call them, where if you fall, like, on a bare arm, you get, like, little ice shards in your skin.
Like raspberries?
Is it raspberries?
That's
I don't
when
know.
you get, like,
Isn't
road
raspberries
rash.
the thing where you're like, isn't that raspberries?
Oh, maybe.
I don't know. I don't remember what we call them, but you get little ice shards in your arm, and then there's nothing for a little bit, and then just all of a sudden it's bloody because the ice melts.
What?
It's a weird little phenomenon. Yeah.
How fun. One time I was at a rodeo on the Big Island because my Auntie Susie and her husband did rodeo a lot. Uncle Leo. And Leo? Is that his name? I don't know. He didn't talk much. Anyway, Auntie Susie. Leon is his name. So Auntie Susie took me out and I fell off a horse real bad. And I either got a strawberry or a raspberry all down the side of my face. It was rough. Anyway,
yeah,
that's my
it's like that. But it's only if you slide a long way this happens.
Yes.
So you have to take a real big spill for that to happen.
Oh, man.
Nice.
Can you imagine like your whole back and ass and the back of your calves just like strawberrying or raspberrying?
Yes.
Whichever one is appropriate.
I was like, can we got this?
No, we cannot. Okay, so they're in robes, you guys. They have done makeup. They've been there for like 3 hours. The photographers are set up. Everybody, all the professionals are ready to go. And she's like, hey guys,
I've decided.
No more. I can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so Ivan goes over. Yeah.
She already mentioned to Coach Lee that the reason why she didn't want to start up her social media was that she had a stalker at one point. She had a problem with a fan. And Coach Lee said, did you go to the police? And she's like, no, because it was never really threatening. It was just kind of gross. And then she decides she's going to start up her social media again. So she's kind of thinking about this with the body issue, too, because somebody makes an offhand remark. I think it's her brother, actually.
Yeah.
Of like, if she's in this, like, guys are going to jack off to her.
Ew.
And then she starts being like, oh, God, like, this is all starting again. I'm going to get all these, like, messages and letters again. This is all going to start up.
And she's already getting videos to her pictogram account where people are sending videos of them jacking off to her photos. So, like, no funsies is what I have to say to
like
that.
A big part of why all of a sudden she's not really wanting to do this anymore.
Yeah. Guys, don't do a harass.
Don't do a harass. No one listening to this does a harass.
I know. Nobody listening to this does any harasses.
We need to go on a different podcast and say don't do a harass. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll work on that.
Yeah.
So, okay. So Ivan goes over and he's like, what changed? What's going on? And she thinks to herself, well, I'm not fucking telling her about about the stalker issues.
Right.
But the other issue is that she doesn't want him to make fun of her about her naked body. She's like, what if you think my nipples are too big or they're too small? Or what if you, like, I'm okay with you making fun of shit that I can control, but I can't control this. This is all genes.
And I like my body. He makes fun of her body already, but he hasn't seen it naked. And she likes how she looks naked. And, well, at least she says that here.
Right. She doesn't want him to taint that. Ooh. That was unintentional.
Yeah,
guys,
but also during the scene,
melody.
She says vagina lips multiple times.
She does.
Vagina lips.
She does.
That's my hard limit. Vagina lips.
She also says like big swinging balls or something.
Ooh, oh God, bing boom bong. When they take off, the spoiler alert, she does it. So they talk about it, and God, let's get through this first. He's very like, you're beautiful.
Yeah, he does a good comfort.
He does a good compliment.
He does a sexy comfort.
So he's like, I would never make fun of you. Like, real talk. I'm not going to make fun of you naked. You're beautiful. You have a great body. Like, there would be nothing to make fun of. And also, I would never do that. And she's like, you think complimenting me is going to, like, lying to me is going to, you're wrong, Lukov. And he's very, like, he does a little shoulder touch, right?
Yeah,
he does wrist touch or something.
A shoulder touch and then a caress down to her wrists and holds her wrists.
Oh yeah, and he does a big comfort, you guys, she talks about how beautiful she is. It's very nice.
And then this is the passage that I got. Okay, here we go. At the end of this big, sexy, beautiful comfort, he goes, Come on, meatball. You and me. We'll make everybody jealous of our work of art asses. Was this what friendship was like? What was it supposed to be? Him teasing me? Me talking shit back, but doing it with a smile on my face?
Yes.
If it was, I could do it, I thought. Maybe. I hate you, I sighed, peeking at him again because I sucked. It's really good.
Then, so they get naked.
Yeah, they do.
And he's hot, you guys.
He hot.
She already knew it because of his, skin tight skating clothes. But
I have a read.
Okay, do a read.
Okay, I'll do a read. Okay. So he does something and she says, "Prude," I whispered, not getting why he wasn't looking at my face at the very least. He was beginning to make me feel like there was something wrong with me. So I looked at him because he was there. And I suddenly began regretting doing this again because Ivan's body. Fuck. Maybe because I was an athlete, regardless of what other people stupidly thought, I could appreciate all the different forms male athletes held. I'd never been a big fan of male models with their perfectly sculpted tiny muscles that had to be worked on regularly, one at a time. I liked raw strength in all its shapes. I really did. But Ivan's in particular had been basically painted by a master. The caps of muscles at his shoulders were drawn by pen. The lean, rigid muscles of his forearms and biceps were strong. Then there was his firm pectorals. Guys, she's always talking about his firm rock hard pectorals.
Yep.
The flat abs with 8 small square shapes at them, the detailed muscles at the hips from all his lifting, and the long lines of muscle striations at his thighs and calves. I didn't need to look at his ass to know that it was high and tight. High and tight, you guys. And I'd be a fucking liar if I said I hadn't glanced at his penis. But like me, he decided to cover something. That something was hidden by what looked like a nude-colored sock that had covered his junk, leaving only trimmed hairs at his groin there. And then I highlighted this and like bold and italicized it because it's a hard limit for me. She goes, "I wasn't going to bend down to see if I could see his balls." Like, of course you're not.
But then she does see his balls at some point. And then she talks about how big and low swinging they are. And she's like, "Damn, those big low balls." And I'm like,
those big swinging ka-tank.
Is big balls a thing people are into? It's not me.
I'm not one of those people.
If you are into like huge balls,
tell us.
Please send us an email because Jasmine clearly is, and that worried me.
Maybe she likes a teabag challenge. You know, like the ice bucket challenge. But except it's a teabag challenge. Okay.
But also, before all that happens, when she takes off her robe, he's like, fuck, and starts muttering and like skating around. And she's like, What's your problem? You just said you wanted to do this, and now you're in a shitty mood as soon as we start doing it. And he's like, "I just want to get it over with." And she's like, "What is your fucking problem?" And he's like, "I just feel like maybe we shouldn't have done this." It's because he's going to get a boner.
He's trying not to get a boner.
But you guys, it's so cold. He does not get a boner. It's too cold for that.
No. He also says she can make fun of his body, like just a little. And then he goes, "But I don't think that there's anything you're really going to want to make fun of me about." But then he's like, "On second thought, it's cold, so you are not allowed to make fun of me about things that want to try and escape into my body." But you guys, he is impervious because of those big swinging clackers. You know?
It says, "At once I'd accidentally caught a glimpse of huge balls dangling between his legs that had for 1 second made me wonder what the hell he did with those things in his costumes."
Oh.
What? They're so big that she can't figure out what he does with them when he skates? Horrifying. Like, when they finally do sex on each other, I had to like put it out of my brain.
It seemed a little bit like borderline clinical, you know, like an elephantitis situation. Yes. Okay. All right. Man. So then the photo shoot happens and it goes well.
Goes great.
Then at some point, like I think later that day, you guys, still the same day, her mom gets into a car accident and Jasmine finds out by getting home and the mom has like made her dinner. And then the first time she looks up at her face, which is like, I want to say like 2 minutes into their interaction, Jasmine just hasn't bothered
it's dark.
to look up at her
Yeah,
mom.
but I think it's also like the thing where like one kitchen light is on, because it's night.
Okay.
That's what I was picturing. I don't know.
All right. Yeah, that's less assholic. That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
So Jasmine does a big freak out because she makes this car accident about her super hard.
Yeah, Jasmine does a big narcissism and Jasmine has a big narcissism and a big bad daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So her mom says she was in a car accident and she didn't want to tell anybody because she didn't want to bother them. And Jasmine,
including
in her brain,
all of her siblings.
Yeah.
All of her siblings.
Who are home. So I don't know how she thought that was going to go.
No. They're all at their own houses. She's the only one who lives with her mom.
But like the next day they're over.
I know. Yeah. But I
they
think
all
she
have
means
dinner
that
there
night.
all the time.
Don't tell them that night.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So
anyway.
Jasmine is like, oh my God. In her brain parts, she's like, oh my God, my mom doesn't want anyone to know that she was in a car accident. And instead of thinking that maybe her mom has an issue with being a martyr and giving too much of herself all the time and not valuing herself, she's like, this is my fault for figure skating.
She's like, my family doesn't know that I love them, and I have chosen figure skating for so long that they think that that's all I care about. And then, you guys, her response to that is to then
walk out,
choose to figure skate more.
Yeah, your mom was just in a car accident. Instead of being like, Mom, can I get you anything?
Can I make you some tea? Do you want to snuggle on the couch?
Do you want to have a night together?
Why don't we watch your favorite movie?
Fucking nothing.
She
turns around and walks out the door.
She almost leaves her mom to clean up her dishes, like I think she always does, ? And then she's like,
Jasmine?
I guess because she's just been in this accident, I should go and clean up my dishes and like put them in the sink and brr. So she has spent 12 hours or whatever skating and working. Her mom is like, I am a big injure. And her response is to be like, well, fuck you
off.
And fuck everyone. You guys think I chose figure skating? Well, then I might as well make it worth it. That's her logic, is like, if they're gonna think I will always choose figure skating, then I need to practice more so that I can win something and make my choices worth it.
This has nothing to do with her figure skating.
No, it has nothing to do with it.
Nothing to do with her or her skating.
No.
It blew my mind. There's like a figure skating movie where like the mom died on the way to practice because she was like speeding to like see.
No, that's Save the Last Dance.
Is that? Oh shit balls! That's Save the Last Dance.
It's a ballerina
I was thinking
movie.
It was Ice Princess with what's her name, Von Trachtenberg or whatever her name is. Michelle Trachtenberg.
It might be also that. I don't know.
Von in that. Anyway.
Von Trachtenberg.
No, that is Save the Last Dance. But something like that, I maybe would have understood more if she was like, Mom, you've got to come to the rink right now,
totally.
and give me my schmers. That would make more sense. This made no sense. So she goes to the rink, forgets her skating bag. I didn't understand this. So she somehow got there without her skating bag, but does have her skates, which maybe she has a locker there.
She has like backup skates. She has like old ass just in case skates,
which are kept where? At the rink?
In her locker? ?
I don't know. She gets there. She doesn't have all the things she needs to skate. She puts her skates on.
She doesn't have her bandages on her feet.
No bunga pads. Gets out on the ice to just rip the fuck out of her feet. I don't understand. It never comes back that she did like 20 triple jumps and fell 20 times.
Yeah.
With no bungas or no bandages, nothing whatsoever. And it doesn't come back that she ripped the shit out of her feet. I know. She's wearing, you guys, socks and old skates. Yeah. And doing this. So then, sorry, this bothered me a lot. I was just like, ouch. And so then she just goes and starts throwing herself into jumps and just like falling and falling and falling and falling. And then all of a sudden, Ivan comes and tells her to get up.
And she's like splayed out on the ice. And he's like, he hands her a Hershey's Kiss, which I think is very cute.
It's very cute.
Sorry, that part was very cute.
Yeah.
And he's like, get up. And she's like, no. And he's like,
why?
Get up.
Why
and she's like,
get
no.
Up?
And then they repeat those phrases back to each other for about 6 pages.
Easily 150 pages. I couldn't figure it out. Why wouldn't she get up? I didn't understand it. Was it just because he told her to? I didn't get it.
I think so. She's like, my whole skin on my back is aflame because it's so cold on this ice, but I still won't get up because he wants me to.
But she didn't say that. She didn't say that it was because he wanted her to.
I know. I read between
she said
the lines,
that, I would understand it a little more, but I was just like, why aren't you getting up, Jasmine?
Just get.
This happened several times throughout the book where she's like, I don't want to get up, and he's like, fine, I will carry you, and I'm like, okay, that's fine by me, but like I didn't understand.
Do it or I do it. Yeah. Anyway, so he does it, you guys. He caveman carries her. Oh boy,
and carries her into his secret room,
a secret lair.
But before we get there, Bing Boong Bong Butt Cheeks with Erin.
Butt Cheeks with Erin. I requested this. This is a requested Bing Boong Bong from Melody.
When I texted you 3 hours before we were supposed to record yesterday, and I was 20% into the book, and I refused to tell you how far into the book I was.
Yes.
But now I can tell you that I was 20% in. And you said something like, do you like book? And I said, don't know, book long. Also, little things keep bothering me, like how she keeps falling on her left butt cheek over and over and over again. My left butt cheek hurt. My left thigh. My left this. My left that. You don't fall on your left butt cheek. You can, but you fall on the right one and then you roll on the left one. That's how it always goes because that's how jumps go. Because you're physics with Erin, Bing Boong, it's a secondary Bing Boong Bong within the butt cheeks.
Yeah, I love it.
We're under an umbrella of butt cheeks, and then we're going into physics now.
Yes. Oh,
I don't even know why no one wants to hear this, but so you're in the air. You're in the air. You're rotating. You're rotating counterclockwise if you're a right-handed skater, which I'm assuming both of these people are, because you can't have a left-handed skater paired with a right-handed skater. And if they were both left-handed, that would actually make a lot of sense for this book, but it doesn't matter. They're both left-handed. It would be very difficult for them to find
butt cheeks that hurt.
Oh, you just wait.
Okay, sorry.
But if they're both left-handed, it would be really hard for them to have partners, to find partners, and if they were opposites, they couldn't be partners. So we're just going to assume they're right-handed. So they're rotating in the air counterclockwise. Left foot is over right foot, crossed over the right leg. Okay, then you land on your right foot, and you take your left leg and you swing it around to the back. What
swing it?
Hip do you fall on if that goes
on your
wrong?
Right one.
Always right. Always right. Because nothing is on your left side. Like no weight. No rotation, no nothing.
Then you roll.
Now, sometimes if you are still rotating when you fall on the right, and then you kind of, the inertia throws you onto the left. That happens.
Yeah.
But if you're into figure skating and you're doing big jumps, it's your right side that's always fucked up all the time. So she reaches down while Ivan is carrying her, and she pinches his butt cheek.
His right butt cheek.
And he doesn't care. No, it's his left butt cheek.
It's his left one. Sorry.
And
no, because it's her left one that doesn't hurt.
That would be his right one that did, and she pinched the one that didn't hurt.
Oh, God damn it.
So she pinches his left butt cheek, and he doesn't care. And then they get to, he has a room that is his room.
Secret lair.
At the L.C. Lukov complex. He has a secret
it's
lair
like
with a little
keypad,
like boop, 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 to
entrance,
get in. And then you get in there and it's got like cup of noodles. It's got hot chocolates. It's got a bed. It's got everything.
It's got a shower.
Ever want.
Oh boy.
And he then pinches her butt on the left side and it hurts her real bad. What?
No, because it's her left one that always hurts, and it shouldn't be.
I know, but that's where it is. It's her left one that always hurts, and it shouldn't be.
Because then Mariana Zapata says that he pinched her on the one that does not have nerve damage.
Oh,
the one that can feel.
I thought that can
and she
feel.
pinched him on the one.
Oh, okay.
No, then she pinched him on the one that has nerve damage and doesn't care.
It makes no sense. So then Ivan is like, and then she's like, why did mine hurt and yours didn't? So I thought it was the one they fell on hurt more, but it's the one they don't fall on hurts more.
Yes.
And he goes, you always fall on your left butt cheek and I always fall on my right.
Yeah.
That thing just pushed me all the way over the edge on like, what the hell is this? Like,
Rage with Erin.
No. Oh man. That's the end. We're out of both Bing Boong Bongception is over.
Okay, we've descended out of it.
Yeah, we're done.
Cool. All right, here we go. So he and his big clackers carry her into his secret lair. And what are you doing?
I'm checking off my figure skating Bing Boong Bongs. Falling on butt cheeks. Just got a check mark. We only have two more left. Okay.
Excellent. Okay. Okay, so then he's like, for fuck's sake, what's the matter with you? And she's like, I'm not gonna tell you. And then he puts her down and he takes off her skates and he makes her a hot chocolate, all the while being like, Jasmine, talk to me. Jasmine, talk to me. And it's a really sweet. Okay, he does a big sweet.
He does a very big sweet.
Yeah. And then when she finally tells him 9 pages later, he's like, everyone at this level feels bad about what we've sacrificed, you know, like whether it's school or whether it's prom or whether it's whatever. Like I didn't do any of those things because I was figure skating. And he says that it's worth it. And then she goes, it's only worth it if you win and I'm a loser.
She's right.
And then
she's never gotten first place at a competition. This girl has a quad toe. She's never won a fucking thing. It blows my mind. Even I won a couple things. Jesus Christ. Anyway, so she's a loser.
And so then he hugs her and she's like trying not to cry and she's not crying, but she's doing a big freak out. She's doing a bit of a hyperventilate.
Yeah.
And he's hugging her from behind and he talks her off the ledge with these big compliments.
He takes her skates off for her.
It's
very cute. She gives her the hot cocoa. He
assures her that they're gonna win, and he's like, your family loves you and they're so proud of you, and you know, we're gonna win, so everything you've done is gonna be worth it, and it's just gonna be us together, meatball. And it's a really cute thing.
It's very, very cute.
It's really nice. Okay, so then they go to practice and he's like, hey, can I invite myself over to dinner? And she's like, yes, you can. She wants to just like shrug, but she's like, he deserves at least a nod after he comforted me like that. And so she begrudgingly nods, and that is how Jasmine is.
And that is like the most nice she is to him the entire time. The whole book, he's giving her so much. He's giving her a comfort. He's giving her a hug. He's giving her a niceness.
You guys, he is a words of affirmation, and I am a sucker for it.
And she's a nothing. She literally gives him nothing. The idea that at the end of this book, he's confident to be like, you know, I'm into this, and I think you are too, blows my mind because she gives him nothing the whole time.
So then in the locker room, some girls are like, you know, big feet and big dicks, and I wonder what Ivan has swinging with those clackers, you know.
Balls. And, he has some big ones.
But she's like, stop talking about him. Would you want people talking about your body behind your back? Burr, 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 burr. Goodbye. And then out in the hallway, there's 2 girls picking on some other 2 girls. And the ones who are getting picked on are always really sweet and say hi to Jasmine when she's mean mugging everybody. And so she's like, don't you dare. I'm going to open a can of whoop ass on you, and a burr, 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 burr. And Ivan then like sort of stops her.
He has to interrupt her so she'll stop yelling at children.
Yeah. I mean, I'm fine with it. I am too. Being dicks.
But she was about to say motherfucker. She was about to call them motherfuckers.
Right, which is a step too far. They are 12 after all, or 14.
Yeah.
And so then he's like, hey, Jasmine, I'm hungry. Are we going? And then she goes over to him thinking he's going to be like, why are you like this? And instead he's like, so what's a can of whoop ass though? Can you tell me about that? It's cute.
It's cute.
Okay. So then they have dinner at her house, and she keeps on, every time she goes to shower and then come down, she always eavesdrops on them. And this time they're telling him that she hated Snow White because Snow White was this lazy, good for nothing, blah, blah, blah.
Off of men. But didn't they say that it was really her mom that said that and she was copying things that her mom said, only about Snow White? Like, her mom would say things like, you should never depend on a man. And she's like, Snow White depending on a man, those sort of things. It's very cute.
Which is funny because then who depends on a man at the end is all I'm saying. Okay. So, and you guys, when she comes into the room finally, there are 2 seats open at the table. There's one next to a sister somewhere, and then there's one right next to Ivan. And so she chooses the one next to Ivan. And during the dinner, they do a lot of thigh grabbing and a lot of knee caressing and a lot of, she does a choke and a cough and he does a pat a back and a hand her water.
Right, because her mom point blank asks him, so why only 1 year? What's the deal? This is so unusual and weird. And why can't you pair with her for more than a year? And then she chokes on some rice and he pats her on the back and stuff. He does. It's nice. Mm-hmm. It's nice.
And then during that dinner, one of her sisters, the one who matters more, says...
Ruby.
Yeah, Ruby says, are you going to babysit with me? And she's like, oh, yes, I definitely will. So then when babysitting comes around...
Confession. I did not read chapter 13.
You guys, when Erin was freaking out about this book, I was like, hey, listen, lady, chapter 13 is a 4-melody chapter. Erin should do a chapter 13 skip. Mm-hmm. And I'm really proud of you for doing that. So I think maybe her car breaks down again, or I don't remember. But anyway, he needs to give her a ride. And he's like, oh, but it's all the way across town. Well, then I guess if it's only for a short-ish amount of time, it's like 4 hours. Then I guess I'll go with you and I'll stay with you and I'll just babysit with you. And then I'll take you home. So she's like, oh, I don't know about this, but I kind of like it. And then they go in and... the rest of the chapter involved my ovaries doing a big shiver. My ovaries were doing a fireworks explosion because there is a picking up babies and talking about the future and stuff. And he's like, do you want kids? And she's like, someday, but like in a really long time. And she doesn't want to do figure skating and parenting because she wants to do the parenting in the best way she possibly can. And he's like, well, don't you think you could do that with the right person? Basically, like, don't you think you could have it all, Jasmine, with the right person? And she's like, well, do you want kids? And he was like, I didn't until I met this baby. And now I do, but only with the right person. And like, I don't know. He does this like really cute nag where he's like, I got to choose the right person, though, because I don't want to dilute my blood. And then he says something like, otherwise they might come out short and angsty and heavy boned and like all the things that she is. It's really cute. Great. And then she has some weird feelings in her tummy. And now it's chapter 14. Goodbye.
Goodbye,
kids. Erin can now enjoy the conversation again.
We're an hour and 31 minutes into this podcast and we're only halfway through the book, Mel.
Oh, no. I think... oh, no. Is this a 2-parter and I didn't know it?
I think it is.
Gosh. Yeah.
Can I just get my last 2 figure skating bing bing bongs out of the way and then we'll be done? Jasmine and Ivan both. Okay, first she says that she loves her triple lutz. She's done it thousands of times. She has the most consistent triple lutz out there in the world, which is the hardest, besides the axle, the hardest triple jump for most people. She says she calls it her 3L at one point.
She says everybody calls it her 3L.
I call it the 3L. It's my little nickname for the triple lutz. And then he calls it a 3L at one point. I have never, maybe this is only something for like when you get up into the upper Olympic echelons of figure skating, they start calling jumps 2Ls and 3Ls and 3Ss. They called Triple Southpaw 3S at one time. It doesn't make sense. There are other jumps that start with L. So, like, what do you call your triple loop? If you're calling your triple lutz a 3L, I think it would get really confusing, and I don't think it's a real thing, and it's very weird. And I don't know why Mariana made this up.
Okay.
Unless maybe it's not made up, but it seems made up, because then what do you call your triple loop? I don't understand. What do you call your triple toe loop? Do you call it a TL? Is it just the 3T? I don't know.
You call it a 3 twisty foot.
Yeah, I don't know. 3 twisty foot.
A 3 I don't know.
At one point, she talks about how she has a videotape of him falling on a death spiral.
Oh, yeah.
At the Cup of Russia, I believe, which is, I want you all to Google a death spiral and tell me how the man can possibly fall in that maneuver and what it would look like, because he can't. And it would look crazy if he did. Like he would have to like trip on something on the ice in order to fall. Because he just stands there in a back pivot. It's crazy. That was weird. Also, she calls a spin a camelback. She said so-and-so was doing a camelback. And then describes a Bielman spin. And then I was like, well, maybe some people call this a camelback. Maybe in Canada, it's a camelback. Is she Canadian? Because I was thinking maybe like Winnipeg. I don't know. So I was like, maybe they call it a camelback up there in the north. No, I Googled camelback spin in figure skating, and I got a bunch of camel spin, and then I put it in quotes, and it does not exist. And where did it come from?
Well, the fourth video that comes up is a back camel spin.
No. She specifically describes a Bielman spin. She's like, they were doing a camelback, which is when you grab your skate and pull it above your head so that you look like an egg. And that's a Bielman spin. So is that
You're good at that.
Is that a copyright?
You do that in yogas too.
No, not quite, but yeah. And then... Sorry, it's not a yoga move. You're talking about the standing up mermaid pose, which is not quite. You have to go like all the way back with a Bielman and take your skate all the way up over your head from backwards.
All I'm saying, Erin, is that you look really sexy either way you're doing it.
Thanks.
That's all I'm saying.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Mm-hmm.
But anyway, is that copyrighted? Is that the reason? And then did she just make up a new spin? Because Denise Bielman has copyrighted or trademarked her spin? And then if that's the case, why not just pick a different spin? I don't. All right, and now that's the end. I hope anyone listened. All right, bye.
All right, rock on, you guys. All right, well, you know what I'm really fucking excited about?
Sorry,
I'm not going to. I'm not going to. You know what I'm really, really excited about now, Erin? Is being able to read a different book next week, because I have notes on this entire book already.
Yay!
Oh, raise the roof!
Yay!
Okay, man, I've done that in front of Michael a couple of times, and he looks at me like the whitest white lady he's ever seen doing white things.
Also, in other news, in Intellectualism 2020 update news, I read this whole book before this episode.
She did. So, guys, we're doing it.
I used to only read half the book when it was long.
Because listener, we learned some things in 2019. Okay, we did, and it was hard, and it involved tears.
Yes,
a couple of times, and so we are committed to being better for you and for ourselves. And
we're going to read the whole book this time
of the fucking world.
Whole time. And if you noticed, it improved the episode because we talked about shit that happened at the end in relation to shit that happened at the beginning, because we were smart about it.
We knew what was foreshadowed.
We did a foreshadow.
Yeah. Oh, man, intellectualism feels good.
All right. Do you have a lady love?
Man. All right. Here it is, you guys. A couple of weeks ago, we decided to reorganize some things in our house. We were like, there is too much stuff and we don't know what's going on, but we still needed all the stuff. We couldn't just junk the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I discovered this little thing called an undershelf basket, and I am obsessed. It has changed my life. It's this metal thing. It hangs on the top of a shelf or like under a cabinet or like in between two regular cabinet shelves. And it's just a place where you can put the tiny things that don't need to be on the bottom of your 18-inch shelf. And then you can't put anything tall there because tiny things are taking up space where bottles should be and stuff like that. You guys, hanging under shelf baskets changed the game in my house. That's my lady love.
That's a really good lady love.
Yeah. I drink so much more tea now because I moved my tea out of the cabinet where I couldn't see it and into an under basket on my counter, and now I can see it all the time, and I say to myself, oh, hello, self. I do want some tea. Look what I can see right there. It's just waving at me with its delicious herbalness.
I love
being
you.
like, Melody, you should drink me. And then I do, and it's nice.
I'm going to give you 2 lady loves, I think.
2 of them?
Yeah.
Me.
So the first one, it just occurred to me that the very best pairs program I've seen in a really long time, and I think this was my lady love another time last year, so I'm sorry, is the Vanessa James and Morgan Cypres, Cipres, French. He's French. They're French. They're both French. Wicked Games routine from 2019. So if you Google their names and like maybe Grand Prix, you're going to see it. They're wearing like black and she's got like pants on. She's got a good pants. And it is the sexiest, best pairs routine I've seen in so long. And she's so tall for pairs. And her lines are just insane. It makes me emotional every time I watch that program. Have you seen it? I know I've sent it to you. I've put it on the cult multiple times.
Okay, maybe I have.
3 to 4 times I've been like, have you guys seen this? Anyway, Vanessa James and Morgan Cypres.
Okay, well, send me the link again and I'll include it in show notes.
I'm bad at foreign words and I'm sorry about it, French HBs. Okay, and then also, my mom has been telling me for weeks, every time I'm on the phone with my mom, she's like, have you watched this show on Fox called Flirty Dancing? And every time I'm like, no, Mom, I haven't watched Flirty Dancing yet. Because she's always trying to talk me up about like Dancing with the Stars and stuff. And I'm always like, Mom, it's not a show I watch. And she's like, well, you gotta watch it. And it's like, I don't watch that show.
I watch so many and so little time.
Yeah, I just don't. And she, every time I've talked to her for weeks, she's been like, you have to, you must watch Flirty Dancing. And so yesterday I was sick and she's like, perfect. It's the perfect time for you to watch Flirty Dancing on Fox. And I'm like, fine, fuck. If I want to continue to have a relationship with my mother, I'm going to have to watch Flirty Dancing on Fox. Melody. It is so good. And I think it's canceled. But it's so good. It's a reality show where they take a person and then they pair them, they match make them with 2 other people. So it's only ever heterosexual couples so far. Mm-hmm. And I think that's because it's dancing, not that I think it's like traditional dancing and that's why they've done that. Not that they couldn't do it another way. But so they'll take a man and then they'll say, okay, we're pairing you up with these 2 women. And then he learns 2 dance routines, one for each woman, and then the women learn their dance routines. And then they do a blind date where they just do the dance that they've learned and choreographed over the past like weeks or whatever. And they're not allowed to talk. They just do their dance and that's their date and they walk away. And the dance scenes are so cinematic and beautiful. They've got like drones flying around them and like the music is swelling and they have them in these beautiful locations, like on a boat or on a stage and it's like, or on the streets of wherever. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And each time they've all come away being like, oh my God, like I just had this like spiritual experience dancing with this stranger, this choreographed dance that I learned. And then the man in this case would then picks one of the women to date based on the dance.
Wow.
It is so good. And almost all of them, I think there was only one that at the end they went on a date and they didn't have chemistry. All of the other ones are like, we're on date 5. We just spent the holidays together. And it's also not just like, there's like a one with old people. I mean, not old, but like a widower, you know, and like, it's not just like these young Instagram influencer people. It's all different kinds of people.
That's fun.
It's very emotional and very good. And I loved it so much. And there's 4 episodes now. There's going to be 6. And then they just moved it to Saturdays, which is kind of the death knell for Fox. So I think it's going to get canceled. But it's real good. And then there was just one. Yeah.
I hate to be this person.
Yes.
So I'm really sorry.
It's okay.
Are there any cinematic, beautiful episodes in which one woman is paired with 2 men and they dance and then she chooses?
Oh, yes. Each one. Sorry, I just used the man as an example so I could use some pronouns to describe what was going on.
Oh.
In each episode, there is a man that dances with 2 women and a woman who dances with 2 men. Not at the same time. You know, they're individual dances.
Yes.
But each one stars a man and a woman, and then 4 total suitors.
Okay.
And it would be so cool if they did like a homosexual episode, or like it would be so cool. Yeah. But they haven't done that.
In partner dancing, when I did West Coast Swing, which I really miss and I am determined to get back into when I don't have small children anymore, so the dancing community is tough because it used to be very stringent. The leads are men and the follows are women, right? But especially the West Coast Swing community has become more and more interconnected and everything else, there's a lot more women who are, if not also learning the lead role, to then have anybody follow them. It can be men or women who follow them.
Oh, cool.
But some women are just like only learning how to lead. So I love that. But yeah, it would be cool to or have an episode where they switch it, where a heterosexual couple, the woman learns the lead and the man learns the follow part.
Yeah.
But it's cool.
Yeah, but I don't think we're going to get that opportunity to see.
Yeah, it sounds like they're
other kinds of couples.
But flirty dancing, I'm going to check and see outskis.
It's beautiful. And it's so emotional. It's just so clear how, and it's hosted by Jenna Dewan, and it's so clear how like how much dancing with somebody can like build a connection, and you can learn so much about them.
It's a language on its own.
I know, it's so clear in the show. And then at the end, after they dance, they have like a moment of like they're looking at each other and they're not allowed to talk. You know, that last hold, you know, it's usually a dip or something like that. Yeah. And it's just this like, it's such a cool thing. And then one of them, they start making out.
No!
And they never even said anything to me. They don't even know each other's names.
Oh, that is so sexy.
Yeah, it's so good. So I'm like my mom, you guys, flirty dancing. You can no longer continue to have a connection with me until you watch Flirty Dancing.
Okay,
it's on Fox.
I'm on
it's on Hulu. Yeah.
Okay, I'm into it. All right, cool.
Can't wait for you to watch it.
Well, this was fun. Yeah. This was really fun. You can find us on all the places. We are on Instagram at Heaving Bosoms, on Twitters at Heaving_Bosoms. Remember, guys, we post the reading lists of the upcoming like 5 books on our social media. So follow us there if you want to either read along or if you want to know whether or not the book you bribed us with is coming up.
Our pinned tweet is always the reading list.
Yes. And it's also in like the admin section of the cult.
Yeah.
In the announcement section or whatever. Speaking of the cult, on Facebook, it's the Heaving Bosoms Podcast Geriatric Friendship Cult. And it's a bunch of just excellent humans who are together to talk about romance and support each other and just be amazing. And then there is our website where you can find links to our Patreon and our merch. That is heavingbosospodcast.com.
And the Reading Embrace is on the website.
And the Reading Embrace, you guys. The Reading Embrace is really exciting.
If you want to do the Reading Embrace, there's printables and downloads there, so you don't have to like make your own spreadsheet. Even though I know some of you are like deeply into that, you don't have to if you're not.
And we love you for it.
For you Gryffindors out there, you can download a spreadsheet right from the website.
Right. and a lot of Hufflepuffs too. All right. So keep being a badass. And love yourself as much as you love those big swinging clackers.
What does he do with them in his costume?
I'm going to bend right over and take a big peek-see at his big swinging balls and taint.
Just so you know, they come back. This is not a reference that just gets dropped one time. Because later we have sex with them.
Yeah, we do.
Big balls.
All right.
Love yourself
Erin,
as much as that.
And I do. All right. I also love you, Erin.
I love you too, Mel.
So much. Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Hey, you. Yes, listener, you. Are you loving the show? If so, please leave a rating and review in your podcast app. The 90 seconds you take to say something nice not only helps new people find the show, but it makes me super smile over at HBHQ. Also, I've had a few people ask, and the answer is yes. We are still doing the 5-star bribe. If you leave us a review with 5 stars, then we'll do whatever book you want. We're real deep into the list, though, so it might be a while. Lilas! Okay, back to the show.